celebrate the summer solstice in community.
Join our annual Arts and Wellness Festival to connect, create, and celebrate with the Sultry Sisters.
In 2023, we explored what it means to cultivate your sanctuary.
Our 3-day festival highlights BIPOC, women, and queer artists and wellness practitioners based in San Diego.
Each year, we collaborate with featured guest artists to build our festival program, which includes creative expression classes, wellness workshops, and performances.
Day 1 of the festival is all about connection. We begin our festival with a social mixer where attendees enjoy music, dancing, and have an opportunity to meet other attendees, guest artists, and us.
Day 2 of the festival is all about creating. Our arts and wellness workshops give folks an opportunity to explore, embrace, and embody what cultivating your sanctuary means to them.
Day 3 of the festival is all about celebration. There is music, dancing, performances, and an open mic for attendees to share. Without a doubt, we always close with a dance party and teach folks the sultry strut.
We are grateful for all the memories made each year at our Summer Solstice Arts and Wellness Festival, and we can't wait to see you next year.
In the meantime, remember to keep living vibrant and shining bright. Yes, we are back, y'all. Hey, it's another Sultry Sister Hangout.
Hey, yes, welcome back. It's been a long time, y'all. It's been
some seasons for a reason.
So many things have happened, have transpired, have transformed, partially because of the book, but if y'all are new here, welcome. So I'm Tony Lynn, she, her pronouns.
And I'm AJ, she, her pronouns.
And we are the
Sultry Sisters.
So welcome, whether you're tuning in on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, or even Instagram Live. And the replays will be up on our YouTube channel, on our playlist, our book club playlist. So definitely follow us and subscribe so you don't miss out. But I guess while people are still tuning in and like getting their drinks and stuff, we can share for ourselves where we are tuning in from and what we're sipping on. And I guess we can share, since it's been so long with our community, just like a little bit about like what we've been up to and what's going on.
What are we up to? Let's do that. Like, what have we been up to since our last Sultry Hangout series? Your girl has entered grad school. I am literally at grad school. I know this looks like a living room, but I am literally in a loft inside of the Presby Theater here at San Diego State University. I'm currently getting my MFA in musical theater. And so, yeah, that's where I'm tuning in from. We're juggling all the things. And even though I think Tony's been in grad school while doing Sultry, so this is not a new juggle, but it is new and who's in the school right now. So that's where I'm tuning in from, and I'm just really excited to revisit this book. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
What I'm sipping on, sorry, lukewarm iced coffee because I drank my probiotic poppy citrus drink during lunch because I needed it because I had to sing right after lunch and I just needed the bubbles. But we know we always sip on something cute, so I put this in the refrigerator, so it's newly refreshed cold, but it's that's what it is.
Okay. So hey everyone. So I'm Tony Lynn, tuning in from the DC areas on the East Coast. So as we're on live, you'll probably see the sun start to set. So I try to have all my lights set up, but forgive me if it starts to get dark. And I'm sipping on the San Pellegrino, but the blood orange flavor of the sparkling soda water thing. So I just put it in my mug that I got from my friend Diane DaCosta here in the DMV.
Oh yes, love. I was with you when you got that. It's so beautiful. There's so much movement in that mug.
So I love it. I also have some water there so I can stay hydrated. What I've been up to a lot. So ever since our last book club, we had our 3rd annual Sultry Festival. So in the preview here, y'all saw our recap video from the year before. And we did our third annual one. Was really, really amazing. Our theme was reclaiming ancestral healing. So that was super fun. Then after that, we had a break to just rejuvenate ourselves, replenish. There was other things going on. Then I ended a job, I started a different job, and then I started another job. So now in a different full-time position. I still work in like maternal health, but I do communications now, or specifically that area is what I'm focused on. So lots going on. We've had a lot of transitions ourselves personally, Soul Tree. So we are doing our fourth annual festival this year. So we're super excited about that. Oh, hi. We have Tabitha Smith tuning in from Sacramento and sipping on crisp, cool water. Ooh.
Oh, we love. I'm going to be going to San Jose, NorCal for my spring break coming up soon. So I can't wait to be up there being in some crisp, cool weather.
Yes. Fun. And I was going to say, yeah. So if you're just tuning in, feel free to comment below where you're tuning in from, what you're sipping on. So again, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, we want to know.
Yes, something else that transpired through our break between our Soul Tree Sister Hangouts is we got our first grant from the city of Oceanside, our hometown. And since then, we've been able to facilitate a radical soul care series at the public library in downtown Oceanside. This means so much to us because we are all about bringing wellness to all. This aligns with our mission. And so we really want to also share with y'all that we have an upcoming workshop, our closing workshop for our first season of Radical Soul Care Series, because we're trying to manifest a continuation of funding, y'all. So the closing workshop will be May 24th at the Oceanside Public Library. All you need to do is go to soultreesisters.com/event and register to reserve your spot. We're really, really thrilled to have had ongoing programming that is free to our community in our hometown of Oceanside.
Yes, and I just put in the comments below in the chat the link to sign up for the Radical Soul Care series. So it's a free workshop. So definitely check that out because it's been super, super fun. We've had folks come in that either know us, are part of the Soul Tree community, who are just part of the library community because it's at our home public library in Oceanside, or people who find out from guest artists. So definitely check it out. Oh yeah, we have even more people tuning in.
We have Pauline tuning in from East San Diego County and drinking boring room temperature water. LOL. You know what?
That is good. That's classic. Actually, you're drinking a classic beverage.
Drinking a classic. And we have Ania tuning in from the DMV, also sipping some agua. We love it. We love it. We love it.
Oh, Nia is one of my coworkers and my new place of work.
So as we're doing our roll call and everyone's sharing what they're tuning in from, we also love to allow our community to be active in the comments. So if you have some events coming up too, please share them in the chat. We love to amplify other folks that we're in community with. We know that Pauline's having an event coming up called the Disruptors Panel. So definitely, Pauline, go ahead and share a link to learning more about that. We love seeing our community out here honoring Women's History Month, as well as like different ways of connecting with community and talking about radical soul care, radical arts, just, all the good things.
Yes. And if y'all didn't already know, it's Pisces season. And so I started off the season on the 19th. And Alyssa is closing out the Pisces season tomorrow. So wish you an early happy birthday, y'all.
My birthday's tomorrow.
Yes, because we're still Pisces season, so we're celebrating. Okay. And it's the beginning of spring tomorrow.
Yes, yes, we love all the seasonal shifts. We love celebrating our energy. We have Kyle here checking in from DC. No drink yet, but walking to get one. We love people who are tuning in on the go. Yes, listen to us like a podcast. We got AM tuning in from Washington, D.C., sipping on some tea. Love, love, love.
Yes, welcome.
Got Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Drinking some matcha, tuning in from LA. Yes, we got West Coast and East Coast in the building. We got Sultry Mama. Hello.
Jenny's green icon is like the color of matcha too.
We love it.
Yes, we have Sultry Mama here, and then we have our birthday wishes coming in. So thank you, Tabitha. Thank you, Sultry Mama. So Evangeline is our Sultry Mama.
Mm-hmm. And as you saw our lovely trailer talking about our festival, this annual festival, our theme will be the healing nature of play. We're super, super excited for that. You can learn more by visiting sultrysisters.com, SS Festival. Our registration is coming soon, aka next week. You'll be able to start to register to reserve your spot. Honestly, what inspired us to bring back this book club was not only the fact that it really was life-changing for both Tony and I, but it also is a great primer for our festival this year, which is all about the healing nature of play. And we think that creativity and all of that is linked to principles and ideas that are shared throughout this book.
Yes. And rarely do we revisit a book, y'all. So just the fact that we're revisiting this book means that it was really, really good.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments if you are rejoining this cohort, if you were able to read The Artist's Way along with us last season, if you've read it before. Let us know in the comments if you are new to The Artist's Way or if you are returning to it. We'd like to know in the chat.
Yes. We also have Lauren here from North Park, San Diego, making some mint tea. Ooh, nice. All these beverages are always so
I was not sure how we're gonna do with this 3:30 PST timeline, but it seems like we're 50-50 with East Coast, West Coast tuning in. We love it.
The Sultry Mama got her coconut water. Okay. So we're staying hydrated here. Okay, awesome. And then Nia sharing that it's her first time, but very excited for the book club. Yes, welcome. We welcome everyone. So also if you're tuning in and you just saw the live on and you're like, oh, let me pop in. If you don't have the book, that's okay as well. If you just are curious about creativity, about, having a spiritual practice, you heard about the book. That's fine. If you're listening to an audiobook, that's great too. Or if you do have the book, or we really recommend going to your local public library and checking it out there. And you can even check out the audiobook from your local library. And it's on Audible as well.
Yes. So you might also have seen in our social media promotion that we have renamed our Sultry Book Club to the Bayan Book Club series. Tony, do you want to get into a little bit of why we have renamed our book club series Bayan Book Club series?
Yes. So Bayan is short for Bayanihan. And if you don't know our background, we are Afro-Filipina. And so we really love bringing in both of our cultures. So for our Filipino culture, Bayanihan is a deeply rooted Filipino concept that means communal unity, cooperation, and helping one another. So we're like, especially right now in our current state of the world, we were like, we really want to tap back in to that communal unity, coming together, connection, which is really at the core of our Sultry values. We always talk about that. A lot of the books that we've read in our book club series have always touched on that. So we really wanted our book club to now reflect really what we talk about in the book club. And it really has a spirit of coming together and supporting each other in times of need. So we shortened Bayanihan for Bayan. And then it also really has the essence of the Akan symbol of Sankofa, which we talk about all the time in our community. If y'all came to our last Radical Soul Care workshop in Oceanside, we made the pom-poms with our guest artist, Katie Ruiz, for our Sankofa backdrop. And so really bringing in the Sankofa, which is to look back, to move forward, which essentially when we have our book club, through reading and reflection, we're able to look back on our own lives, on, how these texts we can revisit the past. Like this book was written over 30 years
in
ago.
the 90s, like 92 or something like that. Yeah.
We still get something out of that, right? So that's
Right.
part of the Sankofa. And then how do we use what we learn to bring forward a better future for our community?
Mm-hmm.
That's really at the
Yes.
essence of why we renamed our book club.
Yes, we got Jesse tuning in. We met Jesse at the last workshop. So nice to be in community with you online. We got Maureen saying, my hubby has the book. He is an artist. Yes. You know what's interesting? I'm also in the production of Rent currently. I'm in rehearsals. And this book, 92, is in the same era. And I'm playing Maureen, the performance artist. And I guarantee you, Maureen probably had read this book. So I'm just really excited about the synergy and the synchronicity of reading this book and how it meets us at different times in our lives. So in the chat, we'll start to talk more about the introduction and the basic principles and basic tools. And we're going to want to hear from everybody of how they currently view themselves in relation to being artists, practicing creativity, because that's really important to, in this journey of doing this as a series together, understanding where we start to know where we want to go and to reflect at the end where we have grown. So start to think right now, where are you in relation to the word artist? Is that an identity that you are that you embody? Is that something you admire? Start to percolate about that, because we're going to want to have some of y'all answer in the chat.
Yes. Oh, we just mentioned Katie, and she's in the chat joining us. Hi, Katie. So she said, so glad to be here, walking my dog, so not sipping yet. Awesome. Welcome, welcome. Wow, yeah, this time seems to be a popping time. So we are glad, because we had to make it work with both of our schedules.
Because we're not competing with dinner, okay? It's after lunch, before dinner. You know, maybe y'all are wrapping up at work, got us in your ear. We love it. Maybe you're commuting. It's all great.
Yeah, so a reminder for those just joining the live that after the live time, we will post a replay up on our YouTube video. So it'll be there automatically right when we end. So even if you have to pop out, if you're commuting, you lose signal, if you're not able to come to one of the weeks, that's okay, because you can watch the replay on our YouTube channel. So definitely like and subscribe at Sultry Sisters on YouTube and all platforms. And then I'll also put in the chat our book club link, because if you are like, I'm really loving this, I really want to be a part of this, but I need some accountability, we use the book club's app. And through there, we have the Bayan Book Club, and we have all the live links. And if you subscribe, then it'll send you an email alert so you don't miss out. And we also, all the members can chat with each other. So you can send a picture of you reading your book, of your pictures, of your date. We'll go into all of those things.
Yeah. And it's great because it's off of Instagram, because we know a lot of people in our community have gone off of Instagram. But if you still are on the app, we also have a Bayan Book Club channel as well. So we're all about accessibility, because we want to make sure that in this book club series that we are really able to have some communal conversations around this. So we hope that even if you're only able to join the replay, maybe you can send this to a friend and you both can watch the replay together and share this this experience with somebody else, because something about the artist way, and as we start to segue into it, is that Julia recommended that we do this in creative clusters. And that's why we thought this is a beautiful way to bring it to our community, because when we bring it up to our friends, a lot of people have heard about the book, but not everyone has completed it. A lot of people have started to read it, but wanted to have a space to reflect and chat and have a space to hold themselves accountable to get through it, because it's 12 weeks, and like every week there's something to reflect on, to uncover, to recover. And so do you think it's a good time for us to start to segue into that, Tony?
Definitely. And also, since we're about to step into spring tomorrow, that's also kind of why we decided this timing, because last year we started in January, which was good for that year for what we needed as a collective. But this year we really leaned into the slow new year. And so we allowed ourselves to just acclimate to what we were working on, just still be in the kind of hibernation mode. But since we're stepping into the spring, we're like, how about we revisit this book that really allows you to do that self-reflection, but also kind of pushes you to step out and to allow yourself to kind of bloom into the creative you want to be and you already are.
Yes.
So the book club will start this week, obviously. Next week, we start week 1. So we'll kind of go over the details of what to expect. And it will go all the way to June 11th. So essentially preparing ourselves from spring into so we're at the spring equinox into the summer solstice, which goes to our annual summer solstice festival, June 20th to 22nd. So it kind of works with the seasons and also a way for us to really tap in to go into the theme of our festival this year.
That's exciting, because if you're like, I really want to be able to talk IRL with folks who read the book, well, we're going to be at the festival. And I know some people that we're in community with who are a part of the book club will be there too. So you'll definitely have space for that as well.
So yeah, you've been hearing about, okay, the Artist Way, this, book club, that. You're like, so what is going on? What am I signing up for? So this is the book. This is what it looks like if you haven't seen it before. There's another version of the cover as well, but this is the 30th anniversary version I have here. And then it has not only the chapter, but you'll have different tasks to do every week.
It's a creativity book. It's a book where a lot of people have sought out to unlock or remember and recover their creative side. So let us know in the chat why you are interested in reading The Artist Way. What brought you to this book? Did we bring you to it? Did someone gift you the book? Have you seen this book around your house with a partner? Let us know in the chat how you have come to this book as we start to talk about the nuts and bolts of what to expect.
Yes. And so it's called The Artist Way, and the subtitle is A Spiritual Path to Higher Creativity. So that's kind of what I realized after finishing the 12 weeks last year. So also, if you were with our book club last year and finished the 12 weeks or got close to the end, we just want to give a round of applause because it was hard, y'all. Okay.
It was challenging. But in the most beautiful way. It was challenging, and it's like one of the. It's a good story. It's like every good story. It gives you the ending that you wanted, but not what you expected to get. Right? It's like we all knew that we joined because we wanted to finish the 12 weeks together. But what we all got out of it was very surprising. I know for me, I was entering the Artist Way burnt out, and I'm like, oh, I'm about to be a productive artist after this. That's what I thought. And coming out of it, something else happened. I discovered a new love for what is it called? Adorning myself, which it's interesting to tie those two together. But when I look at the calendar and I look back at Instagram, when I started to like creatively share our outfits, it was definitely off the heels of the Artist Way.
Definitely. Through some of the exercises we'll go into throughout the 12 weeks. Yeah, I really reconceptualize like my artistry and my creativity being fashion and how I outwardly express myself through the way I style and dress myself. So I've really leaned into that since then. But yeah, so it's great to see in the chat all of y'all's responses. So we have Sultry Mama revisiting it. She listened to the audiobook last time. We have Jessie here. I've been hearing about it for years, and people have suggested it to me for years. When this book club came up, I thought, what a perfect opportunity to finally read it. Yes, that's kind of our journey to the book too. Like we've heard about it for many years. Alyssa tried to send it to me multiple times, and there was always something that
lost in the mail.
So again, I think it's one of those things when it finds you, then it's like, okay, this is the time to start this journey.
Jenny, I am in my expansion era and working on releasing fears or doubts this is a wonderful book for that, Jenny. We love it. We love it.
One of my words for the year is also expansion, Jenny. So that's the synchronicity there.
Yes. Katie shares, I started the book on my own and had great success with that. I did, but I did not finish because I needed accountability. Yes, we're here for that, Katie. We're here for that accountability. We will see it to the end. June 11th. We'll be here every Wednesday. Till then.
Yes. And then we have Pauline. I would love another go at it because this year I feel like my business is evolving as I'm evolving as a creative too. Yes, to evolution, to growth, right? So with this spring season, I think we're really inviting that energy. And I think that they'll be a little bit different too, that now we're doing this spring season versus we were doing it winter last time. So there might even be a different energy, even if you have read it before, depending on what cycle and what season we're in. We have Lauren. This book has been recommended a few times, and this is the perfect opportunity to read with good community. The time is now.
Yes.
Okay, so it seems like we're all in alignment here, which is great. So if you are new, we will just go over kind of the principles of the book, the tools that Julia Cameron outlines, and kind of how we will integrate that into our flow as a book club.
So again, like we said, if you have the book, that's going to be ideal because then you'll be able to go through each week. And then when we meet, it's a reflection. So for instance, today is only the introduction where we're talking about, and we'll talk about the basic principles and basic tools. And then we'll all go off on our own to go through week 3, which is recovering a sense of safety. And then in that chapter at the end has a list of tasks and all that, and then we'll come and reflect. So our meetings will always be in reflection of the work we do that is linked to that chapter.
Yes, so next week we'll be talking about what we did for week 1. Yeah, so essentially this book club, you do have homework, okay? It's self-work, but it really does help. Again, there's no judgment. If you want to come and just listen, we've had people come into the book club and just listen, and they participate on the live, just hearing like the quotes that we'll pull up, because just like we have these banners on the bottom, we'll pull up quotes that resonated with us. In the comments, y'all will be able to interact and share, things that resonated with you all, questions that you have, comments that you kind of want to work through if there's certain topics or things that come up. So again, doesn't matter how you show up, but we give you options. So I guess we can talk about the basic principles now to just kind of ground us.
Yes, let's go to, if you are with the book, I think it's page 3. And there's about 10 basic principles. The first being, creativity is the natural order of life. Life is energy, pure creative energy. Okay, I can get with that. Number 2, there is an underlying, okay, here's what we're going to do, y'all. I'm going to recite all 10, and then in the chat, we'll talk about which one resonated, which one picked up for you. Does that sound like a plan? Let's do that. Okay, basic principles. Creativity is the natural order of life. Life is pure energy, pure creative energy. 2, there is an underlying, indwelling creative force infusing all of life, including ourselves. 3, when we open ourselves to our creativity, we open ourselves to the Creator's creativity within us and our lives. 4, we are ourselves creations, and we, in turn, are meant to continue creativity by being creative ourselves. 5, creativity is God's gift to us. Using our creativity is our gift back to God. 6, the refusal to be creative is self-will and is counter to our true nature. 7, when we open ourselves to exploring our creativity, we open ourselves to God, good, orderly direction. 8, as we open our creative channel to the Creator, many gentle but powerful changes are to be expected. 9, it is safe to open ourselves up to greater and greater creativity. 10, our creative dreams and yearnings come from a divine source, and we move toward our dreams. We move toward our divinity.
Yeah, so feel free to comment in the chat any of the basic principles 1 through 10 that stood out, or if you want us to reread them, you could be like, oh, what's 3, what's 4? But for me, what really sticks out is 8, as we open our creative channel to the creator, many gentle but powerful changes are to be expected. Which this time last year, I think I was just like, oh, okay, sure. But like now reflecting back, I'm like, wow, yeah, so much has changed. Like Alyssa said, like my personal style has definitely gotten more creative. I'm more funky. I like mix and match things. I'm just very like maximista, do the most. And then so has then given me opportunities. Like recently, I got opportunity to curate a rack at the DC Goodwill for their meetup. And that's because I got more open with sharing my creativity of my style by sharing my like sustainable outfits, and I tag the different places. So the people at Goodwill have been seeing the stuff that I post and asked me to be one of the collaborators for that event. So now when I reflect back, I'm like, oh yeah, that definitely was because of After the Artist Way. I was able to tap into that part of my creativity and be more open. And that definitely has created change in a good way in my life.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to backtrack a bit in the introduction and kind of also reflect on like why this book is beneficial and why this book, why now? And a quote from the book I wanted to share, or just something that Julia said, is no matter what your age or your life path, whether making art is your career or your hobby or your dream, it is not too late or too egotistical or too selfish or too silly to work on your creativity, right? And these basic principles are kind of like the way to make that proclamation, right? But I think that's really important. I think it's a part of the unlearning for myself. Is like, it's never too late to like pursue a new creative outlet, whether that be by fashion, what Tony was sharing, or by a new way of making something.
Yeah. And for these 10 principles in the book on page 2, then Julia Cameron shares to revisit these essentially every day. So kind of they'll become like mantras that we tell ourselves through our routines that we build doing the artist way. And she also wants us to revisit these frequently and consistently so we can kind of see the shift again as we journey through this book. And a caveat or a note I want to kind of emphasize for everyone. So again, if you're new to the book and you're kind of like, oh, wait, now we're just off jump talking about God, creator, like what is happening here? So again, it is in the subtitle, a spiritual path to creative recovery. So it is a spiritual book, which I think a lot of people are surprised about. But she does say in the book that like, if using the word God is off-putting to you, you can swap that with whatever word makes sense to you. So whether that's creator, life
Universe,
energy, insert whatever word you want to use. So it's not necessarily like you're following a specific spirituality through doing the book. It's more just this book taps into the notion that there is spiritual energy and there is some sort of spiritual nature. So just want to put that out there. But the book definitely throughout will talk about God, creator, universe. So again, just use your own discretion to what you feel comfortable doing. And it's really about tapping into our creativity that's innate in all of us. So it's not necessarily like changing or adapting so we can become this creative. It's more so like unveiling and unearthing and like taking off the layers that we put on that weigh us down so we can be our free creative self. And also really about like connecting to the energy within that's also connected to the creator, or insert whatever word you want to use. So again, it's like talking about ourselves as creatives, but not in like a Western society, like, oh, because I produce something. It's more so because innately just being a human being that we have that creative nature.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that too, Tony, there's a quote by Louis Armstrong on here that says, what we play is life. I recently saw the musical. Me and Tony and our brother saw it, and he was saying how jazz is what happens in between the notes. And so I feel like what I learned in my first pass of this is like creativity happens between like in the transitions of life. Like and so I had to, like, for me, I always thought creativity was a product, but I'm like, creativity is the process, how we process life, how we process emotion and things like that nature. And so I feel like that quote on the side is kind of a way I'm able to offer a lens on how I view these basic principles of how do I want to playfully incorporate these mantras into my basic principles.
And a quote she also shares is, as we are creative beings, our lives become our work of art. So again, if you have journeyed through this book before, you can kind of reflect on like, oh yeah, like what was the masterpiece of my life that I created after reading this book. But even if you haven't read the book, but to just kind of reflect on like, oh yeah, like through every action, through every word we say, through everything that we do, we are creating this art. And in a second, we'll get into the tools because I know Sochi Mama has a question. So we'll get into the tools in a second. But another thing I want to mention before I forget is synchronicity. So also in the introduction, Julia Cameron talks about this concept of synchronicity. So you can share in the chat if you are familiar with the concept, or if you're like, oh, this is new to me, or reading the book, I learned that concept. But essentially, it's like synchronicity is that like when you go somewhere, like how Jenny, she's talking about matcha, and then her icon is like a green matcha thing. And then maybe someone else was like, oh, I was thinking about matcha, and then they see her icon and they're like, oh, that was synchronicity because like aligned. Or when you like see angel numbers, or you're thinking of a song and then you hear it play and it's at a cafe named after someone that you're very fond of. So like you're like, wait, how are these things happening? That's that synchronicity. And she talks about like with synchronicity, we change, and the universe further expands that change. So that's why, like, because we're all like essentially that word also. So like we are all connected and with this energy. And so when you see something, it's not a coincidence, right? It's because we have this shared frequency, I guess, that we're all kind of like journeying on.
Definitely. I feel like that's a big part too, and to start to be sensitive to. And we'll talk about that more in the chapters. Another thing in the basic principles chapter that Julia highlighted is what to expect. And reading just the opening paragraph of that section is, many of us wish we were more creative. Many of us sense we are more creative, but unable to effectively tap into that creativity. Our dreams elude us. Our lives feel somehow flat. Often we have great ideas, wonderful dreams, but are unable to actualize them for ourselves. Sometimes we have specific creative longings we would love to be able to fulfill, learning to play the piano, painting, taking an acting class, or writing. Sometimes our goal is more diffuse. We hunger for what might be called creative living, an expanded sense of creativity in our business lives, in sharing with our children, our spouse, our friends. Yeah, so we're all coming to this book from different perspectives, what we're expecting to get out of it. So yeah, let us know in the chat, like if you have anything you're expecting, if you want to voice it, you don't have to, but if you'd like to voice, what are you expecting to get out of this? Are you craving to finally attempt that skill that you want to learn? Are you looking for, what really called to me is like a more creative living? I think it's really important for us to ground ourselves in our intention of where we are right now and why, because that why is going to carry us through the 12 weeks. I feel like if we don't write down a why, our whys can change, purpose can change and how it looks, but I wanted to really offer that to the group, like really take the time to reflect, why am I here? And what am I craving? Because we want to be able to look back at that so that we can actually chart our growth. Sometimes the reason why we're unable to chart our growth is because we didn't even document the start.
Mm-hmm.
So it just feels like you never did anything when actually you did. So go ahead, just take some time to do that. I think it's really, I'm learning that.
And I think that's also why for one of the tools is writing, because it's like to write it down. Because again, sometimes if you say a thing or think it to yourself, you might forget because we have so many things we're doing. But if sometimes you write it down, then you could go back and be like, oh yeah, that was my intention. That was my goal, or that was where I was at, like things I was thinking, things I was feeling, the circumstances, environment I was in. And now you can then reflect and see the change, right? So for me, I really want to just revisit it because I crave that like routine and deep reflection that I had during the container of the Artist Way, like the morning pages, which we'll get into in a second. I went through so many of these journals. Lavender, if you're watching this, these are from a creator, Lavender. I love her journals. Like, I feel like this size journal is perfect because then I tried a different size journal at one point and it was like not what I needed, but this was the perfect size. And she has different colors. So I went through so many, but now I have fallen off of my writing practice, which if you know me, you're like, what? That's crazy. Like, are you okay? No, I'm not. So to get back to my writing and my artist day. I mean, since after we stopped the Artist Way, I was pretty consistent with my morning pages until I started my new job, honestly, because now I have to commute, all these things. But I want to go back to this, and I miss my artist dates too. Like every once in a while, if I happen to do a thing by myself, I'm like, oh yeah, this is my artist date. But I'm not as good as like intentionally being like, I want to take time for myself. So I really just am craving this dedicated time for self. And like, even though my schedule's busy, Sultry is starting our busy season. I'm like, no, I want to make time.
Yeah, for me, like what brings me to this is like definitely yes to revisit, because with having to leave the house at the early crack of dawn and not getting home till late at night, a lot of those things that I practice with the Artist Way of like my morning page and my artist dates have not been present, and I'm craving that again. And I feel like with accountability and with a community that is also like might have, you know, lots of things getting in the way, that we're going to like push the excuses aside and find a way together. So I'm more interested, like unlike last time, I was like perfectionist, like I have to do everything, all the tasks. I'm not really interested in the perfectionism of it. I'm really interested in in incorporating it in a very real way. Like, what does it really look like to embody these things? It might not be 3 pages. It might not be a full date. So let's see what some other people have shared of why they come to this at this point. Why now? Why this? Jenny shares, I'm ready to hone in more of my purpose in all of my creative outlets. Yes, yes. Jessie shares, healing and growing in my creative life and practice. Yes, yes. Visualize your intentions. Painting that picture. It's yes, yes, yes. Pauline, I know I meant to do something creative when it comes to my business and to my work. However, I have a hard time making sure I balance the creative work and creative play. Yes, balance that part. Katie shares, for me, I want to remember great tools that I forgot because we are forgetful in nature. Any reminders? Yes, that's why we have seasons. Seasons come back, right?
Yes. Hi, welcome.
Yes, hi.
So thank you all for sharing your intentions and like what you're looking forward to getting out of the book club. Again, even if you didn't voice it to us, like maybe write it down or put on a post-it that you're gonna put on your mirror or somewhere that you look every day. Write it in your notes app, in your phone, whatever it is that's gonna help you come back, because there's gonna be certain weeks that we're gonna get to and you're gonna be like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And that's okay. But then when you come back to it, you know, you want to have something that you can revisit to be like, okay, where was I when I first started this? Okay. And that can help ground you. So you can keep going and have that. But also, if you do stop, or once we get to the end of the 12 weeks, you want to see, where was I even at? Because again, life happens, and sometimes you're just so caught up in the current day, in the present, that you can't even remember how far you've come or what you went through to get to the version of yourself you are now. So yeah, it's just kind of like markers, so we can track ourselves just for our own purposes. Again, it's not so we can it's not a competition or anything, Alyssa.
Why are you referring to me? It's because I'm a Pisces Aries cusp, okay? So that's why sometimes it becoming. That's why I had this voice out loud that I'm not going for perfection. I'm not going for did I do the homework, and that's why I don't want to use the word work. We have to. What's another word we can call this instead of homework? I don't know. I'm just offering it to the group.
Activity. She calls it she calls it task, but you can be activity.
Yeah, I think activity. I think I love that. Activities.
Practices, because you're practicing.
So speaking of activities, things that we want to talk about, things that you'll need. Practice. We love that. Yes, practice. So we're going to have weekly practices that involve reading, and then they involve the morning pages, so journaling. Julia does mention there is something about writing pen to paper, but I'm all about accessibility. So whether that is a voice memo to yourself or whether that is typing on your computer or phone, I think all of them are great. So I think morning pages will be every day starting today. And it's shared that we should do it right when we wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
That's why they're called morning pages. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. So morning pages is the first tool. So yeah, if you do have a journal or whatever, however you want to document, but morning pages, yes, ideally is when you wake up in the morning, and it's your first thing, because she wants it to be your stream of consciousness. So because sometimes if you do it after you already drank your coffee, took your shower, you're already eating your breakfast, then sometimes you already went through that in your head. And it's not, then when you start to write, it's more premeditated. So she wants it to be really natural, just stream of consciousness. So if you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm tired, or you have a dream, it could be about your dream. It could be about your to-do list. If you are starting to think about your to-do list, if it's oh my God, I really don't like to write, that is what you're writing. Oh, well, I don't have to keep writing. I remember last year, for the first couple of weeks, a lot of my thing was just oh my God.
My hand hurts.
Yeah, I'm only
hungry.
And I have to do 2 more pages. And if you are writing physically, I do kindly encourage you to really try for the full 3 pages, because that's really going to stretch you. Because if you just do a half a page or 1 page, sometimes it's really just what you kind of already know or are feeling. But once you get to page 2, then to page 3, that's when it's you
page 3 has the T.
You start to either make connections for yourself or call yourself out. She even talks about that in the book. Sometimes you're just wait, why do I keep complaining about the same thing?
Yeah, I was tired of writing the same stuff over and over again. I was I must change this.
Can to the page 3 to really get into that practice of that stream of consciousness. And then once you're done writing, you close it up. You close it up, and then you don't open it up till the next morning, and you don't look at anything until there's a week, maybe midway through, where we will look back intentionally. But she's supposed to be stream of consciousness, almost you write it and throw it away, but you don't really want to throw it away yet, because you might have some gems in there. But it really is, you're not supposed to look back at yesterday and be what did I write yesterday? What should I write today? And then it's also not supposed to be an intentional art practice. It can turn into art. Some of the stuff I wrote down, I ended up revisiting later and turn into some of my writings. But you shouldn't go into it being oh, I'm trying to be creative. It's really supposed to just be a brain dump. You just going to the bathroom in the morning, you go in on the
and here are 3 quotes that will help solidify why. Julia says morning pages are to get us to the other side of fear, the other side of negativity, the other side of a bad mood. Morning pages will teach us how to stop judging, and just to write. And it will help us to battle that inner perfectionist. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love it all. I need it. Again.
She talks about, in the introduction, she talks about the inner critic. What does she call it again? There's a word.
Censor. The censor.
And so through the pages every morning, you might start to notice, I don't know if it's on week 1, it might be on week 5. You might start to notice that there's like an inner voice or a voice. It might not be from inside. There's a voice that's like, oh, you're not writing right. Oh, why are you doing that? Oh, you woke up late today. Oh, you keep talking about work. Why aren't you talking about your creative practice or whatever it is? You keep talking about XYZ. Insert whatever. That censor. So through the writing practice, again, it's like a ritual of sorts. And that's going to help notice that and notice patterns. So then you can have this period of reflection, and then be able to let go of that. Like later weeks, we'll talk about letting that go. And that's also why this book is called A Path for Creative Recovery. Because we're recovering, because she's saying that we are innately creative beings, but through life, through society, through all these external things, we've shifted and put on all this stuff that now we have to recover, right? So like you sprain an ankle, you have to tend to it. So we're tending to ourselves through these 12 weeks. So again, give yourself grace. You don't have to be perfect, but try. Like really do give yourself the space and time to try these things out. And also, if you're feeling resistant, she also says in the book to lean into that. Like, why am I resistant on the page? If you're really like, I'm only doing one. I don't know why this Julia lady is saying. Lean into, be like, why am I only really wanting to do one? And then try for 3 and then see what happens after that. So that's kind of the how we will do and approach the practices. It's like we do give ourselves grace. We do not have to be perfect, but also you don't want to enable yourself. Like you don't want to be like, oh, okay, like Sultry Sisters said, Bayan Book Club, we can just be chillax. So I'm just going to do the bare minimum. It's like, yes, and if that's really what you have access to and your capacity. But if you keep, again, falling into a pattern, then just be curious with yourself. And even if you don't want to change, like maybe you really only want to do X thing, but just be curious and ask yourself like, oh, why is that? And again, that's really just how we will approach this whole journey.
Yes. And shall we talk about the other element of the other basic tool? The other basic tool is the artist date, which is it is a favorite. That's something I did keep going. And so the artist date is essentially an activity that you do with yourself. And it can look like many things, an array of things.
Yeah. So an artist date does not have to be literally going to an art place. So you do not have to go to a museum. You don't have to be painting. It does not have to be you doing this big A art activity. Not at all. It could be gardening. It could be spending time in your home and doing, what feels good to you. It could be taking a walk.
Playing a game.
It could be if you have a certain hobby that you're maybe not so connected to right now, reconnecting to it. So last year it was me styling and doing my outfits. And then I also started pole dancing. So it was me leaning into that, which I still do. So I'm happy about to report that.
Yes. It's essentially a set of time that a time that you set aside for yourself, that you're committed to, what she says, nurturing your creative consciousness. For me, my artist date ended up turning into me cooking for myself. So a lot of the times, because I was like, well, I cook for myself all the time, but when I'm cooking for myself, sometimes I'm like listening to a podcast and doing these things. But I decided to like create an environment where like I'm playing like music that's not necessarily like I'm working while I'm cooking, and I'm just going to eat my food. I'm not going to be on my phone. So there's things that you can even turn things that you already do into more of an intentional time. I do like encourage you to, as you go on, to like try different things, because I think the whole point of the artist date is to figure out what really helps you tap into that creative consciousness. Like, so variety will be fun to experiment with, but and I think for me, what stuck after the book is what I kept. But during the 12 weeks, I was trying to try different things.
Yes. And what she really emphasizes is the artist dates are essentially solo dates. So artist dates intentional with yourself, intentional time with yourself. So not bring it. So even if you plan, okay, I'm going to this exhibit, or I'm going to the farmer's market. If someone then comes with you, then that unfortunately does not count as your artist date. Because she really wants that intentional time of you just be able to be with yourself. And then she wants it to be intentional where you plan it. So also not like, oh, okay, yesterday I went to that park and I sat there by myself. So, okay, that's my artist date. She wants it to be intentional, as if you are planning a date with someone, right? Like if you plan a date with your friend or a partner or whoever, you will tell them ahead of time and make that time and block it off. And, usually when you're hanging out with someone, you are, focused, you're giving them quality time, you're not distracted. So she wants you to give that same attention and quality that you do for other people often for yourself. So I like that too, because I think a lot of times on social media right now, it is about solo dates and stuff, but I don't think people really talk about like how to create that space. And so that's what we'll talk about through the 12-week journey. Because some weeks will be easy. Some weeks you might do multiple artists. And then other weeks you're like, oh, wow, I really could not fit one in because there's so many other things that came up, whether, you're a provider and provide childcare for people, or you care for other family members, or maybe you balance multiple jobs, multiple responsibilities, or maybe you're like traveling. There's many things. You get sick. There's weeks. Last year we got sick. And so things will just shift. And it's okay. Give yourself grace. But the weeks that you do have the capacity to really be intentional, and then we'll be sharing it every week so we get inspired. There's other people. I know last year, Caitlin, Cleo, she was doing making, and I was like, ooh, super inspired. So maybe this year I'll actually try some jewelry making. But it was just super cool to hear everyone's different artist dates, how the pages went for them. And so, yeah, like it can be anything really. Like the world is your oyster when it comes to artist dates. And I just want to emphasize, it does not have to be producing a thing. Like that's anti this artist day. Actually, it's really soak in things and just be present. It's not, doesn't have to be productive. It doesn't have to be connect to, if you do have an art practice or creative practice that you identify with, it does not have to be connected to that. It could be totally different. She encourages it to be very different from what you kind of typically do. But yeah, so I don't know if anyone wants to share in the chat things that they've done for Artist Date in the past to maybe give inspo for people who are just joining, or if you want to share things that you want to try that maybe last time you read the book you didn't get a chance to do, or if you have questions, definitely this is the time for questions too, so we can answer things.
While y'all share some potential artist day ideas for the community, or also drop in any questions, I think something that we also want to share before we close out, in the basic tools chapter, she talks about like, in order to be creative, it's also important for us to fill the well. And like, may that be a motivation. Like, why are we going on these artist dates? To fill the well, and she says, art is an image using system. In order to create, we draw from our inner well. This inner well is an artistic reservoir. Is ideally like a well-stocked trout pond. And I really like that. I like how she talks about that. So she says, as artists, we must learn to be self-nourishing. We must become alert enough to consciously replenish our creative resources as we draw on them. And an example is, before I started rehearsals for Once on This Island, I'm choreographing for Once on This Island in Oceanside. If you are in the area, definitely come out. But I'm in grad school. It was the day before, a Thursday, before our first choreography rehearsal on a Friday. A bitch was tired. I mean, a girl was tired. Sorry, this is YouTube. A girl was tired. And, but I decided to go see a peers show. I decided to go see a show, because I was like, you know what? Although I'm tired and I want to go to sleep and I want to prepare for rehearsal, I have to believe I've already prepared. I know what I'm doing. I have it written out. Looking and staring at the staging and listening to the soundtrack is not going to replenish my well as much as just being able to witness and just absorb other artists doing something and being able to be taken away by a story, because it reminded me, this is why I do what I do. I love taking in a story. I'm excited to tell a story. So that's an example of replenishing the well, and how as creatives, sometimes, especially us working and juggling many things, we may think we have no time, but it's actually pretty essential for us to continue to sustain ourselves in a creative practice. We have to be able to take in and witness others too.
Yes, it's definitely that sustainability, which again, many of us wear multiple hats, whether that's in our home, in our workplace, in our community. And so, may this book club be a place of replenishment. So again, even if you're not able to do the task or the morning pages or date, even if you just come to the lives on Wednesdays, that's okay. And hopefully this space where we can talk about it, where we can share, is a place of replenishment as well. And one thing I wanted to share, because Sultry Mama did ask earlier, I just want to emphasize. So Sultry Mama asked, you mean we should have an Artist Way journal to keep track of our progress? So it is advised to have like a separate journal. So like if you already journal typically, or if you have like a work notebook or something, she advises to have a separate one, so then it doesn't get mixed up with other stuff that you're doing. But again, just be accessible to what you have. Or if you want to do it on like sticky notes, or if you have scrap paper that you just do every morning, that's fine. But I guess the ideal or optimal way is to have a separate notebook. She actually sells a workbook that comes with this, but the pages are as big as the book. So just
understand those. I had the journal, and y'all, that's why I was writing, why is my hand so sore? Just like
so again, it's up to your own discretion. But that is, if you kind of want to do it more like the ideal way, then yes, have a separate book. And that's way it's easy when the weeks come that we look back as well. And then another thing before we forget is the task. So each week there's about 10 tasks that Julia has in the book. Or if you're listening to the audiobook, she'll list the task at the end of the chapter. And she encourages us to just choose like 2 to 3. You don't have to do all 10, 2 to 3. And when you're choosing those, choose one you feel really excited about. Like, oh my God, like, oh, I really want to do number 4. That sounds super exciting. Or, oh, that's something that I typically do. Let me try that to see how she kind of approaches it. And then also choose a task that you're very against, and you kind of like, oh, like have a repulsion kind of like, oh, what is that? Like, oh, feel uncomfortable. Like, oh, that's out of my comfort zone. Like maybe it's one that's like talking about, I forget the examples now. But it makes you kind of be like, huh, that she encourages you to choose one of those 2. And then the ones you feel more neutral about, to not worry about doing them right now, and you can revisit them later on. So you don't have to do 10 tasks every week. Just choose 2 to 3 ones that you really resonate with, and one that you're like, oh, that is odd. And then, because that's really going to help you stretch and grow. So just wanted to clarify that for people who have done the book before. And so next week when we meet, we will be talking about the chapter of week 1, which is recovering a sense of
safety.
Yeah, sense of safety. And we'll talk about the 2 to 3 tasks we did. Some of us will choose different ones. We'll be able to share how that went. And then we'll talk about our artist date and our morning pages. So again, it might seem like a lot if it's your first time, but it's okay. Again, you start where you're at with what feels good for you. And then you can build on each week if you want. If you can't join us live every week, it'll be up on our YouTube to replay. But yeah, we're super excited that you all are wanting to join us. Feel free to share the book club and the YouTube live link with your friends, your network, your community. We welcome everyone, any time zone, any place around the world, since we're virtual. So that's why we also do it virtually, so more people can access. And yeah, we're really excited to connect with you all.
Yes, and something that we're going to add to this time around with the Bayan Book Club series is we're going to have some guest folks on. Last go around, we had guest folks for our final community chat, but we'll be having some people join to talk about different chapters. So if you're like, I've read this before, there's a chapter that was really moving for me. If you want to share your testimony and come on camera, let us know, send us an email, send us a DM, because we're open to having folks speak of their experience with the artist's way. If that's not your thing, you're welcome to just continue to be live in the chat. We love being very communal and sharing all your comments. Thank y'all so much. We had East Coast and West Coast folks here, and I just can't wait to revisit this with y'all. Cohort 2025.
Yes. So again, like and subscribe us on YouTube at Sultry Sisters. Follow us on all platforms: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Spotify, all of those things at Sultry Sisters. And then I put in the chat again our book club link. So if you want to join there, you can chat with each other, you can chat with us. We have all the live links. And then if you sign up for the book club, it's free. It's completely free. If you sign up, you'll get alerts for each week when we're going live. So as a reminder, so in case you're someone who, you want more reminders because you're not always on the app and things like that, that'll be great. And we appreciate all of your support. So definitely donate and support. We are an Arts and Wellness collective. We love doing this work for our community, but we also love being poured into as well. So you can find us on Venmo at Sultry Sisters, and PayPal, Sultry Sisters. And if you want to support and donate in any other ways, then definitely reach out to us. You can DM us or email us at connect@sultrysisters.com. And we're just really excited to continue to learn and grow with you all. Y'all have taught us so much last year through reading the book. And we're just so excited to be in this container again.
Yes, we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Get ready, week 1.
Yes.
Bye.
Excited.